anytime they talk sideways, it's always us in the peripheral. When they go DEI, it means black people.
To them. But the thing is, the thing that's so crazy is that functionally, affirmative action and DEI mainly benefited white
women.
So we didn't even benefit disproportionately. We actually didn't. And now that but we are being hurt disproportionately, because when they say we're getting rid of DEI, it's interpreted by these C-suites as fire all the black people.
Yeah, and then I know I don't know if the lower courts or something, but I know the Fourth Circuit ruling reshaped how the organization and approach of DEI, right? I think going up against what Donald Trump was trying to do with DEI, was there a change and movement in that?
I mean, to me, it almost doesn't matter what the courts say, because the way that companies are interpreting it, the way Hollywood is interpreting it, you're hearing all these stories out of Hollywood, just don't greenlight black stories.
Right.
Just don't hire black actors.
Period.
My sister's an actress, you know, June Carroll, by the way, hire her if you're making a movie. She's amazing. But I mean, it's like they're hiring fewer of us. They're giving fewer of our scripts green lights. They're giving fewer of our making fewer of our stories.
They wanted to do.
Because they interpret it
black.
And it's not even that Trump, you know, signed a law saying you can't hire black people, but this is the way people are complying.
Well, that's just, it's always been in them. They're like, just give us the go. Just give us the go. No blacks, ha ha! But they're not going to touch the NFL and the NBA.
Oh, no.
Because I was hoping, I think you should fire all of them too, and then we form our own league.
Right.
They were like, well, don't touch the NFL.
No, wait, hold on now. Don't get too
We don't
crazy
want the score to be 1-3.
Right.
We got still need dunks and stuff.
Don't go crazy.
Jesus, who's going to catch? No, we don't want to. Yeah, you notice sports was untouched. Untouched.
Yeah, I know.
Because I said, why don't we, how come it's still black? Why is the NFL still 70? You know what I'm saying? Because whenever they're benefiting monetarily, sexually, or whatever, that's when it's good. But if they don't see, if we have autonomous happiness, then it's like, oh.
You gotta end that.
You ever see it in a restaurant when black people are by themselves happy? They go, they're making a lot of noise. They go, you are too.
Right.
You are too. It's like,
and you're complaining.
Right.
And you're complaining.
Right. But it's like when they see us, they say, get out of here. Okay, we'll get out of here. Get out of our town. Okay, we'll go build our own. Let's go burn that. What are they doing?
Yeah, we gotta burn it. Right.
Because we're running rent-free in their heads every day. We run rent-free.
Yeah.
This is all facts.
What do you think the long-term impact is going to be with affirmative action and the removal of affirmative action?
I mean, so I'll give you Harvard, for instance.
Okay.
The class the last affirmative action class at Harvard before the ruling went through had about 14% black, and when I went, it was 6% black. So it improved to get close to parity in our population. But it was 27% Asian. Asian Americans, Asian people are 5% of the country, but they were 27% of that incoming class. After affirmative action, those numbers are roughly the same.
Same, right.
The numbers of white men have gone down.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't worked out. And so now you're seeing the Stephen Millers of the world look at these elite universities and not see the number of white men increasing. And now they want those universities investigated. But what they're leaving out of the story is that for a generation, people like Stephen Miller, people like the late Charlie Kirk, have been telling white men, don't go to college. They've been telling him it's a waste of money. It's an indoctrination factory to turn you into a liberal, to make you woke. And so white men are self-selecting out of college. And so now when you open up the opportunity to go to Harvard, the people who are prepared to go to Harvard, who are busting their ass in high school trying to get good grades, are immigrant kids who they're chasing away. You know, the international student body is plummeting, and that's what keeps these schools open, because the international students, like our parents, the government paid their bill.
Yeah.
They weren't paying for it. My father got his education because the government of the Congo paid for it, then Zaire. Yeah. And so when you take the kids coming from China, that full payment from the Chinese government is gone. And the American kids who need student loans, who in many cases aren't even prepared for college, you're now whittling it down, and you're expecting white men to carry the burden. I mean, if I was a white guy, I'd be kind of offended. You want me to be all the pilots. You want me to be all the people in the Defense Department. You want me to do all the jobs. I got to be every job. I got to go to all the Harvards. I got to do all these things. And I've been told for a generation, don't even go to college at all. So a lot of these guys are not even prepared. So they're not even qualified.
There's a lot of them are mediocre anyway.
So they weren't prepared. And so it's like they expected that this would mean that Harvard would now be like 80% white men. It isn't. The majority of college students in America are women. more white women go to college than white men. And so now when they're looking at it, they're not getting the white man bonanza they expected, and the Stephen Millers of the world are mad about it.
And he needs to go that little.
The Hague. That's one place he should be, The Hague.
He thinks he's so dope. And I think, and there's a lot of, did you notice the first person to get a PhD is W.B. Du Bois, right?
Du Bois, yeah.
But
At Harvard.
If you notice when you were in Harvard, there was just legacy people where they were like dumb people.
Absolutely.
It's like, you dumb as hell.
Some of the dumbest people I met in the world were people at Harvard who were legacies. The smartest people I met, Ketanji Brown Jackson, I went to college with her. She was a year behind me. Smartest person I ever met. Her roommates, geniuses. Genius, all 4 of them. Because they had to work 10 times as hard.
Just to get in.
Get in. Whereas the legacy kids, they didn't go to class. They were high. They were smoking weed because they didn't have to even get good grades. It didn't matter. They grade on a curve at Harvard, so they weren't going to fail. I got E's when I'm talking about failing. I got an E. They didn't give you an F because they made it on a curve, and they try to keep you in. They put you on academic probation, et cetera. These guys go from academic probation to a ritzy job on Wall Street, even if they passed no classes. These people didn't work. They didn't try. They didn't have to do anything but play lacrosse on the weekends and chill and get high. We're producing a group of people who are coming out of Harvard who are no more educated than had they not gone at all, because they didn't have to even read a book while they were there, because they're legacies.
It's all smoke
and they
and
don't
mirrors.
deserve to be there.
At all.
In high school.
At all.
And yet they had the name. I mean, I went to college with a woman whose name was on one of the buildings. Of course she got in. Her name is on a building.
Oh, right. Because her family, she's a legacy.
Her family's a legacy. So it's like, that person, is that person smarter than Ketanji? No. But that person gets to get it, and no one questions their presence.
None.
No one says, is that okay? But they say that this affirmative action genius kid from Ohio somewhere that busted their ass in high school doesn't belong there simply because they're black. That's America.
Yeah, and you've had this interesting thing talking about the United States and just kind of the things that are going on now. You've talked about dictators from other countries getting killed after they tried to stop trading with U.S. currency. Explain that and what happens diplomatically with the U.S. and other countries who might try to do things differently than the way the U.S. expects them to.
Right, and again, it's talking context, right? Saddam Hussein was evil, but when he was our guy that we were using as a prop to fight Iran, he was our guy. We were paying for him. We were propping him up and keeping him in power, despite how cruel he was to his own people. We didn't care. He used our chemical weapons to bomb Iran in their war in the 1980s. We were fine with it. And then when we decided we were done with him because he wanted to then start to nationalize his own oil, then we were like, let's overthrow that guy. Mossadegh, the president of Iran, duly elected. The people loved him, but he said, I want to nationalize our oil. This is our oil. It should benefit us. We were like, no, BP owns that oil. Knocked him off, put in the Shah.
What was that? Oh, yeah, what was that guy's name?
Mossadegh, the guy in Iran.
Yeah.
And then you go to, we propped up the, completely authoritarian government in Egypt for 42 years because they were playing ball with us. As long as you do what we say, you can be a dictator. We actually don't care about whether you're a dictator and hurt your own people. Mobutu Sese Seko, in my father's country, he was the CIA's guy. 42 years he oppressed the people who had already been through so much with King Leopold. He knocks off Patrice Lumumba, who was their George Washington, who was the man, right? Wow. And the CIA says, not good enough. You're not going to do what we say. Go away. We're going to give you Mobutu. You will have it. We did it Salvador Allende. We give them Pinochet. In Chile, we destroyed Chile because they elected somebody who didn't obey us. So the U.S. has a history of destroying countries by getting rid of their elected governments when they won't obey us and give us their resources. Trump operates that way. He says, the Panama Canal is ours. Give it to us or we're going to destroy you. Cuba is in the dark right now because we're going to pressure Cuba because we don't want them to be able to supply medical personnel into Venezuela until Venezuela obeys. We're going to knock off the new Iranian government to try to control their movement of oil, control Venezuela's movement of oil, control Greenland and their resources.